Hello, welcome back to Blender Sushi Live Noding. In this episode, we're gonna try to do like a physical simulations, rigid body dynamics, and we're gonna try to use Blender Grease Pencil and Sverchok add-on and animation nodes to work together to set up something like this. So you can kind of draw like any strokes using Grease Pencil, and then the rigid body simulations will work like right away. So okay, I'll start Blender. I start from scratch just in case Blender actually crashes. Normally I have Blender already open and then I run the recording and then Blender crashes. I don't know, it's probably my machine. So I started from scratch. And I set it up so when I open Blender it's already in this Sverchok kind of compositing, but your screen might look like this default. So I switch to Sverchok. I will switch to animation nodes at some point. Okay, we have this clean 3D view, and I'll start with a grease pencil. First of all, I should place the center, this 3D cursor on the center, and then I will put it up. So this is the 3D cursor. I'll reset it and just put it up there, and I'm gonna draw grease pencil from there. Switch to the top view. I'm gonna write like maybe ANSV animation nodes Sverchok. Okay, so it's been drawn on the 3D cursor there. So I'm gonna save this ANSV rigid body. I'll try to do this as fast as possible. So Sverchok, get the grease pencil. I'll pick a frame, and we get this grease pencil already. Now we're gonna do the viewer. This is our data, how it looks like. I'll do a quick convert, and the next thing I'll do is to use vector interpolation as usual, range float, and I'll do the count. Let's make it, so I'll do the length thing to make every single stroke the same length. So script node, and let's pick up this path length, plug this into that guy and plug this into this guy, and then multiply by a number. So we get this. So it looks pretty good. Now let's instance some objects on this guy. Let's generate some boxes, but actually I'm not gonna do the boxes here. I'll do it inside animation nodes. So I'm just gonna output a viewer mesh, and I'm gonna merge it. So now what we have is this points, and by using the points we can simply spawn some objects inside animation nodes. So this is like generate, this is a grease pencil, 2 vertices. Now let's switch to animation nodes, create a new object, and then search mesh data, get object mesh data, get it from Sverchok, and let's turn off this thing, and let's just loop through every vertex location, and we're gonna generate a box. We don't have box objects in animation node, so we're gonna use instancing, and we're gonna use this Blender cube. But first of all, we're gonna make it we're gonna assign rigid body dynamics to it, which is this guy. Active dynamic. I think this should be pretty good. I switched to box to make it a little bit faster. So this guy is dynamic, rigid body, actively participate to dynamics. Okay. Now select our cube turn on copy full objects and leave copy, and then we're gonna loop this guy. So we're gonna inside this loop node, we're gonna create object list and plug this guy into that guy. The number of instance depending on the number of vertices, so just plug that into the instance. And now if we use this object transform output, we can plug in our objects and the vector into the location, and we should get our box being duplicated unless I did something wrong. So it should actually work. Let me try and reset it. There you go. So we have this guy, our master, and then this all the instance objects, and then we can now actually randomize it a little bit. I think random vector. Actually, we can do it using Sverchok for this guy, but for now we just worry about the rigid body simulations. Let's make a floor real quick. So this is gonna be floor. SZ, scale it down. So we have our object instance, and we don't want to see the line, so tap object instance node and then tap U, hide relationship lines, and I guess we're almost ready except for the dynamics. Currently this guy should also be a rigid body, and this one is not dynamic. This one is passive. Playback, and we only see one object. But one more thing that we need to do is in here, use the group, object group operations, and plug our objects and put it into rigid body world. And now, if I did it correctly, we have simulations. It's based on the grease pencil. You see, the position of all these boxes is based on the grease pencil, and everything should work nicely. They explode at the moment because all the boxes are kind of too close together. Maybe we need to scale it a bit. So I'll scale it. Make it like 0.1. And if I use ambient occlusion, we can see everything works correctly and nicely. Currently it's too even. We can randomize further in Sverchok if you like. You know, like adding some randomization. Randomize input vertices here. Give it a bit of value. Update everything. See some randomization, and then run the simulations. So now it's a bit better. Back to animation nodes. If you want some rotations randomization, so you can do that as well. Just use a wiggle, Euler wiggle. Plug the index into the seed, Euler into this guy. We have a little bit of randomization here. Increase the randomization and then playback. So we have this like a text setup. This is the master. I'll just leave it over there. You can hide it. But you see, the whole thing become very, very streamlined. From like the drawing of a grease pencil and resampling it, and then set up the vertices position, pass it into animation nodes, set up rigid body dynamics, set up the box, and everything works. Let's say if I I want to use a different text, for example. Let's see if we do it like this. We put a 3D cursor somewhere there, and then we switch to this view, and then we say type in like magic. So I like doing magic and using animation node and Sverchok and Blender. So now if we switch to Sverchok and then simply change the grease pencil to correspond to this guy, we should see everything updated, and then everything still works. So it's like I think it's very nice. Everything is very streamlined. And if you want to add more points, for example, for this guy, we can simply do that. Perhaps with the writing itself, we can just edit the strokes, edit the stroke, and then select it, and then scale it. You know, that's the stroke, and then we simply kind of increase the sampling for the stroke. Okay, that's becoming this guy. Okay, increase the number of sampling, maybe randomize further, 0.3, update it, and there you go. We are almost ready. And just run the simulations and we should have everything works. Probably the next thing we can add on top of this simulation is probably just the randomization of each instance. So instead of having everything like the same blocks of objects, we can just, you know, randomize the vertices. We can do that using animation nodes, but I think Sverchok does it better. Actually, for this kind of thing, if you want to make like a rubbles, you just made a bunch of geometries, you know, like sampling at 24, 64 of variations, and you should not be able, your eyes should not be able to tell the difference anyway. So yeah, there you go. That's a quick setup of dynamics using Sverchok and animation nodes. Enjoy. Thank you for tuning in. If you have any comments, feedbacks, let me know in the comment section below. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.